Unit 10 Review, Question 19. Determine the area of the parallelogram. It's actually our goal. Indicate any length measure units you use in your computation and write your final answer in square units. So we're finding the area of this parallelogram, and notice the formula for the area of a parallelogram is base times height. But we're going to look at this figure, so we have to determine from the grid what the base and the height are, and base and height are linear distances. Okay, so the base can be either set of parallel sides, but I'm not going to use this side. I actually could, but I can't measure this length exactly, so I'm going to use this side as my base. Okay. So the base doesn't necessarily have to be on the bottom. We think of the base as where you'd set something, but that's not necessarily the case. Okay, so notice this distance is 1, 2, 3. Now the height is not the length of the side, but the distance from the bottom base to the top base that's perpendicular. So by perpendicular, that means you need to go straight up. Let me use red. So I'm seeing it's easier to do right here. If I go straight up to the other base, this is the height, this distance, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So my area, is equal to the base times the height, which is 3 times 6. And we weren't told what the units are. They're square units because we're finding area. So we'll just write 18 square units. Let's look at the next one. Here we need to determine the area of the triangle, indicate any length measure units we use, and write our final answer in square units. So a triangle's area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. So again, the base doesn't have to be in the bottom, but in this case, I'm going to use this piece right here for the base because either of these other sides, I can't determine the measure from this grid. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3 units. And now we need to find the height. So just like with the parallelogram, the height is the distance to the opposite vertex. Okay, so if we went straight up, we want this same height. So it may be tempting to do something and say it's 2 here, but we need to find the highest part of the triangle compared to here. I'm going to move over and then find this distance. Okay, so this distance here is the height, going straight up from the same part as the base. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our height is 6. So our area is 1/2 times the base of 3 times the height of 6. Well, this is 18 over 2, which is 9 square units. Let's look at the next one. Here we're asked to determine the area of a trapezoid, indicate any units we use, and our final answer in square units. So the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 times the sum of the bases times the height. So first, what are the bases? Okay, the bases are the parallel sides. So these sides are not the bases of the trapezoid, okay, because they're not parallel. So that means these sides are the bases. And with trapezoids, they would have different lengths, unless they were rectangles, and then we'd call them rectangles. Okay, so here this base is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have our two bases. The other value we need is the height. Okay, now the height is not 8. Okay, typically we think of bottom to top as height, but the height is relative to the bases, and it's the distance between the bases. So I found the bases and where they line up. I wouldn't start up here because 4 isn't there, this side. and this distance is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the height of the trapezoid is 4. So now let's compute this. We have 1/2 times the sum of the bases, which is 4 plus 8, times the height, which is 4. Okay. You could put this in your calculator just like this, but we'll use the order of operations. So first do the parentheses. 4 plus 8 is 12. Okay. 1/2 times 12, or half of 12, is 6. And 6 times 4 is 24 square units.